We're here today at the heart of Alfa Romeo's Centro Stile to bring you the first video of the brand's critical new model, the Tonale compact SUV. The Tonale is the first all-new Alfa since 2017's Stelvio. And of course, they're both SUVs. Tonale is a little bit more compact, but they share a lot of DNA. You can see that in the design. There are shared design cues. And of course, like all good Alfa Romeos, there is a shared obsession with great driving dynamics. So the Tonale is a compact SUV. It's 4.53 meters long, it's 1.84 meters wide, and it stands about 1.6 meters tall. Quite low for an SUV. And that overall footprint puts it somewhere between an Audi Q3 and an Audi Q5 SUV. But there's one big difference with the Stelvio. This is the first ever electrified Alfa Romeo. That means hybrids, not full electric just yet. In that nose, you get a choice of 2 different petrol engines and 2 different hybrids. There'll be 2 mild hybrids at launch, and then the flagship model is a plug-in hybrid, and that has a hang-on electric rear axle, giving it Q4 all-wheel drive. Olgun Cordel is photographing the car for the cover of the March 2022 issue of Car. Head to Apple News Plus or download Car's app to read that cover story. And Alfa Romeo's head of design, Alejandro Mesonero Romanos, also drops in to talk to us about the Tonale and have his photograph taken. Like the Stelvio, the Tonale is named after an Italian mountain pass, and Alfa promises it's a car that you will love driving around hairpins and sweeping bends. The Stelvio and Giulia Saloon have lovely direct steering that's really quick off the dead ahead. Alfa's engineers promise that the Tonale is going to be just as quick thanks to the most direct steering rack in its class. We don't have the homologated weights yet, but the engineers are striving for a 50-50 weight distribution for the plug-in hybrid. That's not so easy for the mild hybrids, which have a higher proportion of weight in the nose. And the Tonale gets independent strut suspension all round and a choice of 2 types of adaptive dampers. And in the mild hybrids, the braking system acts like a self-locking differential, braking the outside wheel in fast corners to reduce understeer and help turn in. Those dynamics sound promising. And like its Alfa siblings, the Tonale has the DNA drive mode selector. D is for dynamic, N is for natural, and A is for advanced efficiency. In the plug-in hybrid, that advanced efficiency mode will mean silent, zero emissions electric running, and of course, rear-wheel drive, because the motor is on the rear axle. So this is the production Alfa Romeo Tonale. So if the design looks familiar, that's because Alfa Romeo previewed this car as a concept back at the 2019 Geneva Motor Show. Remember those? Anyway, it's a very handsome car because it remains very faithful to that concept. So we have the same front end, those thin, hooded triple headlamps, a bit like the brutal late 80s SZ. And we've got the famous Scudetto shield grille and the twin air intakes below it, which forms what they would say in Italian, the trilobo, I can't really say it. So that's the front end of the new Tonale. The side profile is probably the most gorgeous angle of the Tonale. You can see that beautiful GT line. It's a crisp line that runs from the front headlamp all the way to the rear light. And you can see the full surface above it and then that kind of concave body side beneath it. And of course, we've got Alfa Romeo's trademark telephone dial alloy wheels, and wheel sizes span 17 to 20 inches. Final thing, it's got that lovely teardrop DLO, daylight opening as the designers call it, or that glass house, and it's a lovely oval shape. And this is a TI spec car, and that means black detailing like those black mirror caps with that lovely little tricolore Italian flag just marked underneath. When it comes to the rear design, that horizontal light bar mirrors the front with its 3x3 lamp style. There's also a very oval rear screen, which is reminiscent of the 8C Competizione. You remember that super V8 coupe from the early 2000s? And it's topped off by a subtle rear spoiler, which will be there to help improve the aerodynamics and just boost the range of the hybrid models. The flagship Tonale is the plug-in hybrid Q4. In the nose, it has a 1.3 litre multi-air turbo petrol engine, and at the rear, there's an electric motor, and that's what gives the Q4 its four-wheel drive capability. Total power is 275 horsepower, good enough to sprint from standstill to 62 miles per hour in 6.2 seconds. There's a 15.5 kilowatt-hour battery, and the engineers have been pushed hard to deliver a strong zero emissions range, up to 37 miles of pure electric power. The battery takes 2.5 hours to charge on a 7.4 kilowatt wall box. This is a mild hybrid Tonale, and it's got loads of great engine technology. The engine is a 1.5 litre turbocharged unit running the Miller engine cycle and with high pressure direct injection and dual variable valve timing, all to boost efficiency. It's available with 130 horsepower or 160 horsepower thanks to a variable geometry turbocharger. And what's novel about this mild hybrid is there's a little electric motor sandwiched between the petrol engine and the 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Now that electric motor provides 15 kilowatts, about 20 horsepower and 55 newton meters of torque. And there's one more neat feature about this mild hybrid. It can get itself off the line on electric power alone. It can creep around on electric power alone, so at parking speeds or in kind of first gear. But there are not many mild hybrids that do that. The Tonale's interior is lovely, with a beautiful backlit dashboard and some high quality feeling switchgear. In this TI spec, it has cushy leather sports seats, Alcantara and vegan leather or sporty neoprene upholstery are also available. The driving position feels both commanding and sporty and snug, thanks to the towering central tunnel and nice close controls. Recent Alfa's infotainment screens have been off the pace, but the Tonale has a 12.3-inch digital driver's display with some lovely animations, and there's a 10.2-inch central touchscreen too. Put the two together and it's the largest in class, claims Alfa. The infotainment runs Android's operating system, uses widgets for a smartphone-like user experience, and offers a heap of connected services. It also has Amazon Alexa plumbed in, so you can operate functions like checking if your Tonale's locked or hybrid charge status just by asking Alexa. Or, from the driver's seat, you can activate household functions like switch on connected lights or the heating. The Internet of Things, eh? The Tonale may be only 4.53 metres long, but there's decent head and leg room behind a 6-foot driver. That's the new Alfa Romeo Tonale. UK deliveries begin in September 2022 for the mild hybrid version, with the plug-in hybrid flagship Q4 all-wheel drive following by the end of the year. So, is it a true son of Stelvio? Yes and no. Yes, in terms of that handsome design, which you can see is clearly linked to the Stelvio, and yes, in terms of its dynamic promise, which should be really good. But in terms of the way it makes its performance, absolutely not. This is the first electrified Alfa Romeo, of course. The Stelvio, in Quadrifoglio guise, has a 503 horsepower twin-turbo V6 with engineering input from Ferrari. It is absolute fireworks, but it's also the last of its kind. The future is electric, and with its clever mild hybrids and flagship plug-in hybrid, the Tonale shows the way forward. By 2027, Alfa Romeo will be a pure electric brand. In the meantime, we'll have to enjoy driving those combustion-engined Alfas though, like the Tonale.